Well, good evening. This is Dewey Mosley, and we have a special guest, Todd Chambers, here for your daily trading update for 27 November and Team Jireh. So welcome, everybody, and hope you had a great Thanksgiving holiday. And of course, you know, during the holidays, you have some different market hours, probably a little bit slower trading than we're used to, but the market was open, so in between turkey, you know, I did take some opportunities. So I just kind of want to go over where we are and just keep you up to date on how our strategies are tracking. So today I'm going to give you, and remember, these are really informal. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of talk my way through what's going on. And what I'm going to do is just kind of walk you through all of the positions that I have on and how they fared over the last few days. And once again, we're glad to have, you know, our guru with us, Todd Chambers, our workshop extraordinaire. So he can keep me straight while we're going through. And we have the whole team Chambers. We even have Janine signing on. So that's good stuff. All right, so let's get into it. So what we have here is the S&P 500 exchange traded fund, or ETF for short. It's called the SPY. That's kind of what we go with. And I have really several strategies working here. I'm going to go ahead this time and just show you everything that I have on and how I'm interacting with it to make sure that there's a hedge. And it's okay if you don't understand everything now. Eventually, you'll get there. But as we said, let's just first talk in pictures because that makes it a little bit easier. All right. So as the S&P 500 has continued to go up, and note, almost all the markets are at all-time highs, which is pretty amazing under the circumstances. But I started putting on some long option strategies that are mostly theta-based, meaning you make money from the passage of time and staying within or above certain levels, okay? So I'm gonna show you all three of these, and then I'll show it to you in a different way so it makes a little more sense, okay? So this first white box, okay, that you see, once it got to a certain level, I went ahead and put on what is called a bull put spread, all right? I also added to it a hedging component, and together I just called those two strategies a trampoline. So the way this works is that once I put this on, this box lasts for about 21 days, and as long as the S&P 500 stays above the bottom of this box before it gets to the end, then you make a full profit on this portion of the trade. Okay, so as you can see, we've been in it for a little while. We're kind of way up here, which is a good thing for this strategy, not really even threatening me to the downside. All right, as it continued to go higher, we also put on another trampoline up at this level, which you see by this tan box. Okay, same idea. As long as it stays above the bottom of this box, then you'll know that that this will be a winner as long as it stays above this bottom of the box before it gets to the end. Now, you can't see the end of the box because it's off the screen, but it's only 21 days, which is about this far. And then I also have on something called, I call it a RAM. The technical term for it is a long butterfly. And the way this works, interestingly enough, is that by the end of this box, if the S&P 500 closes on above this blue line or below this blue line, this will make a profit. Okay, so that's one way to look at it. Let me go ahead and show you the risk curve just so that you get a little bit better understanding. So I'm going to come over here to my Analyze tab, and let's do it in the same order. So first, I want to show you that first bottom box. Okay, now on a risk curve, it looks a little bit different. So you can see that the risk to reward on this trade is about 30%, right? So for whatever you risk, it's about 30%. And this purple line is where I am on the profit curve right now. The blue line is where it is at expiration at that 21-day level. So you can see here that I've almost made about as much as you can make off of this trade. I mean, there's not much left between where I am and what it can possibly do. Now, you could, considering this trade, this closes next Friday, you know, if you have that much of the profit, you'd be perfectly justified in closing this for, you know, let's say, I don't know, almost 80%, 90% of the full profit, okay? But because I have a hedge on and, you know, want to save a little bit on commission, I'm fine kind of letting this ride, especially through the weekend, and all those days count. So we'll see where it is on Monday. and we'll kind of take it in from there. All right. So that's that one. The second box. Okay. And what you're going to note is it's just going to be a little bit higher, right? Same trade, but it's just a little bit higher and it goes a little bit further out and I don't have as much of the profit done. So you can see we're right here, kind of, you know, closing points about 354. So that's what it looks like on the risk profit curve. And then let me show you this RAM real quick. This is the one that I can get to go either way. Okay. So when I build that, okay, and to me that looks like a ram. You know, you got the two horns and the nose and the snout here. So, or you know, as most traders call it, a long butterfly. But what we're looking for here, of course, is okay, and this is about a 10% profit on the amount risked, right? But what I'm looking for here is anywhere to the right of this corner is a profit. Anywhere to the left of this corner is a profit. And what I like about it is I can literally wait till the Friday before. And if it's outside of those lines or if it comes in between those lines anywhere in the Friday before, I just close it wherever it is. And you do get a long time to wait. Even if you went out and showed how the days progressed, okay? Now, each one of these lines is a different dimension along theta. And it really kind of shows you how this trade would progress over time, right? So if I were on, you can see here, 11 December, this is what the curve looks like, right? And I don't want to take that much risk, right? And 11 December is literally when it closes, okay? But you can see all the way up to 4 December, you don't really lose much and you can wait to find out. I mean, the maximum I would lose, all volatility aside, the maximum I would lose is only 162 bucks, right? And my profit is 500. So I'm willing to take that kind of risk by waiting up until Friday. Okay. So, so all together, all three of these trades, I'm going to take you back to the charts here. Right now, all three of these different types of strategies are profiting and are profitable. And we will just kind of see what it does over time. Now, this I just kind of let ride. You know, I either win or I lose. And the loss is so small, it doesn't really threaten me much. These two I hedge, okay? So let's talk about that hedge a little bit, okay? And I'm gonna start you on the daily level and work your way down. So to hedge that, I go in, I figure out how many deltas it would lose as it approaches my loss point. And I kind of track that on the S&P 500 E-mini futures, okay? And I match those deltas. In this case, it takes 4 contracts for the size of the positions I have on. And basically what I've done is, you know, at certain levels, I just go short, right? Because remember, I'm trying to protect my downside. So I just go short at certain levels, let it run if it continues to go down. And you'll see there's certain places where I will close those positions if it gets down to here. But right now, I don't have too much of a threat going on, okay? So I have a level here and a level here. Okay. And let's get a little bit more granular so I can show you how that's playing out. And I found it pretty good to just kind of go with an anchor strategy. So I'm going to come all the way down to the 15-minute here. All right. And let's zoom in a little bit. All right. And as you can see, my break-even points where it's the minimum point where I would want to start a hedge, right, are kind of way down here, right? I mean, you know, if I just keep squeezing the screen, I mean, I'm very, very far away from break-even points, right? And that really gives me an advantage. I kind of call it a cushion. And yet my anchor points are way up here, right? I'm already short. That's pretty much how I would like to remain. And if it came all the way down or closed down in here, you'd make a profit both on the hedge and on the other positions. If it comes up, and I am trying to work my way with market structure back down to my anchor, but if it comes up, I just close the position and let it do whatever it wants to do up here, because I only care if it's coming back down. And that makes this a very, very safe, consistently profitable strategy that I'm going to continue to work with. And you can reverse this to go the other way. If the market starts to go down, you can do the exact opposite thing where you don't want it to go above a certain level. And we'll continue to work that. So So we'll see if anyone has questions on that when we get through, but that's pretty much it. And yeah, I've taken, and remember that when you do hit an anchor point, if you chop around on it like here, and I'll kind of show you if it'll let me do the show trades here. Stand by. Okay. All right, and we'll wait for that to come in. But you can see if I do chop around one of my anchor points, all that does is just kind of eat into those 20, 30% profits. But as I figure it, I can have about 15 to 20 trades back and forth before it starts to erase the whole profit I'd make from being right, okay? The worst that can happen to you is you chop around a little bit and then come down and have to close it out. But with the cushion I have, I think we're at worst going to break even on any trade. Okay, so that's it for the S&P 500 and the options, tradings, and some futures hedges. All right, now let's get to what's more familiar, which would be the euro. Okay, and this one is kind of showing the trade. So I'm going to kind of pick up where we left off. So of course, Thursday, most of the day was closed, you know, had Thanksgiving. I remember I talked to you a little bit. I did a trading update on Wednesday. All right, so I'm just going to kind of pick up from there and let you know what happened and some of the things that happened in the market, right? And this is part of the challenge of it and how we've done over the last couple of days while we were eating turkey, okay? So to do that, I'm just going to zoom in a little bit, okay? And I'm working a strategy called a mountain climber here. Not going to give away too many details on it. I'll save that for those that are actually in the room. But the bottom line is I ended up going long here, which was a great call, as you can see. Ended up going long, but I want you to note the time was about 1100 the day before Thanksgiving. And that was a really good call, right? And you could just kind of ride this up. But what I want you to note here is when I make it up to the level I'm looking for, right? I want you to note that time down there at the bottom, right? And this is on Eastern time. So at about, let's say 1, 2 o'clock in the morning is when I reached the point I wanted to go to. And I got my signal to move my stop up to that point, okay? This is my profit tracker. And you can see that at that point, you know, I was kind of at maximum profit, but of course, what was I? I was asleep, right? And so for that reason, of course, my stop was nowhere near that. By the time I woke up at about 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, you'll note where we were. And literally, I watched a profitable trade, okay, not a loss, but a very profitable trade come all the way back to just a little bit less than break even, right? For basically break even or a very, very, very small loss, right? And that's a little bit frustrating, but hey, you got to sleep, right? So what do, right? Well, you don't fret it, you know, discipline, confidence, patience, jump right back in there and use what you know to try to get back up on the surfboard or, you know, get between those ropes on double dutch, right? And start working your strategy again. So of course it gave me an opportunity to go long here. It absolutely doesn't hurt, although it's not strictly part of the strategy. It doesn't hurt that I'm bouncing off of support here, right? That gave me a great deal of confidence. And so took that long trade. And as you can see, I was able to bring it up very, very close to the same level I was looking at. And you can see here, ended up closing out that trade right here for a profit. And I'm going to show you the actual pip count, okay, here in a moment. Be able to close for a profit. Didn't get caught in this chop. And that's what I really like about this strategy. Didn't really get caught in here and didn't go long again, as you can see, until right here. Once I went long, and this is, so all of this, right, this blank area, well, I should say right here, this is kind of during Thanksgiving up until, you know, markets closed. Then they opened up again until Thursday night, kind of went to bed. Nothing really going on until I woke up the next morning, this morning, actually, Friday. and went long. And of course, it was a short day, but the entire day, we caught a really nice pop to the upside, okay? So right now, I'm sitting on a very healthy profit. Of course, you can't count it until, you know, you close the trade out, but sitting on a healthy profit, we'll see what happens going into the weekend. And it should be good to go, right? And I'm looking for it to get to a certain level before I follow. All right. So let me go ahead and show you, as promised. I said I was going to, you know, be able to show you actual results, right? And again, just so you know, these are actual trades, right? This is not me cherry picking. This is exactly what happened over the last couple of days. All right. So sorry, let me go ahead and new share. And let's get in here to this one. I don't want to do the desktop. Let's do Excel. Okay. All right. And again, what I really love about this strategy, right now, get it. It was a holiday, but you know, over 3 trading days, I only executed 3 trades, right? Which is great on its face. These are the actual buys and sells. Okay. This is the length of the move, and this is what it is translated into pips, right? So you can kind of use this to gauge how much you would have made based on the size of contracts that you're trading, okay, or the size of the lots that you're trading if you're trading in currencies and Forex. So you can see 3 trades, very small loss. Like I said, I had that huge gain that came right back down to about break even. Then I had 2 trades working my way back up. And that put me over a Thanksgiving holiday, you know, just enjoying time with my family at a total of about 65 pips. Okay, I'll take it. Depending on the amount that you're trading, if that were a full contract, hey, you know, $400 over turkey isn't bad. If you were trading a micro or about a 10,000 lot, I'd been about $82, right? Which isn't bad. I'll buy you a couple of Happy Meals. So very satisfied with how it's gone. Getting more and more excited and confident about the strategies that we're employing. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and change the share back to the markets. And since we do have a couple of guests on, I will give them an opportunity to ask any questions or make any comments. And if not, we will end our session for tonight. But if Todd or Janine has any questions or comments, I'll give them a moment.
What's up, Duke? Not to be honest, man. First off, good job, man. I like what I'm seeing. It makes sense. Mm-hmm. Trying to figure out if I do have any questions as far as what you have there. Okay, let me just ask you this then. So the whole time that you were running, you had established your anchor points. Mm-hmm. And at this point, you have not adjusted your anchor points?
No, because I have not reached the next point in the mountain yet. Okay. And I'm being a little bit non-disclosurish on these videos, but my anchor point has not been hit yet. So when I reach the next point on the mountain, I will definitely start to look to move my anchor point up to it. But right now, because I haven't gotten there, it sleep well, keeps me out of a lot of chop. Don't really have to worry about it because I will either make it to that anchor point or come back to break even. That's the only 2 things that can happen to me at this point. Okay, so you can see I'm sitting up here. I will either come back to break even, okay, and work with this point again, or it'll continue up to the next point I'm looking for.
Cool, right on. I think that's pretty much all my only question, man.
Okay, right. And I understand from our previous conversation that you were working a similar trade, and and then sometimes you just get stopped out, right? It just happens. Everyone has to sleep, and that's just kind of how it goes. But on the bright side, sometimes I just feel a lot better about an opportunity missed than an actual loss, right? And so, hey, there'll be other opportunities, and I like it. But yeah, this was definitely a period when you could make some money. It was pretty conducive. And like I said, remember what we're looking for here. I'm going to back out to the daily level because sometimes it's good to, get out of the trees and look at the forest, right? And what we always recognized, hold on, let me get rid of some of these show trades. What we always recognized is that, when the market's actually moving, when it's doing one of these or one of these, this strategy is very, very powerful, right? And you can see over the last 3 days, sideways like this, all you're going to get is small losses to break evens. But when it moves, you capture a great deal of it without a lot of back and forth, right? Which is what I really like about it. So if it continues up, that's great. If it turns around and continues down, that's great. It's just the sideways doesn't give us a lot of action. Okay. All right. Okay. Well, if there's nothing else, again, I'd like to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving and hope you had a blessed time and that your families are well and that everyone is doing okay. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and stop this session, and we look forward to seeing you all at the next day trading update or update for trades, not day trading update. I don't want to give the wrong impression. Okay, so I wouldn't necessarily call us day traders, but I just want to make sure we get that straight. So let me stop this.